Oh boy, Game 7. Game 7 energy only in here, by the way.
Fair enough.
Forget about Game 1 if you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But we actually do have to talk about that.
Why would you even bring that up then?
Because I want to keep the Game 7 energy while discussing the Broncos.
Yeah.
And just where things went wrong for us yesterday. It was kind of a bloodbath for me in the casino.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It really all comes down to Phil's injury. Hope he's okay.
That one
sounds
really
like
hurt, man.
Sounds like turf toe. He was on pace to hit all of his props.
Oh, yeah.
He had one catch for 11 yards, and the over-under on his yards was 11.5 receiving yards.
I mean, forget on pace. When Smelvin had that fumble, they were riding Phil out. I mean, he was the bell cow, and then it just...
Really a shame. He was going to hit all those, and that would have really turned around everything for us.
Yeah.
Aside from that, what else do we have? Drew Lock didn't get his rushing yards. He did get his completions.
Crazy.
Which actually exactly what I thought was going to happen happened, and he still got his completions.
Yeah. No, I mean, if we thought they were winning that game, you were right that he wasn't going to hit the completions. Like, I only hit that based on some garbage at the very end, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about timeouts. I'm going to really try to not talk about timeouts. But it was just a weird game from start to finish.
Yeah.
And so usually
sloppiest game of all week one, I think.
Yeah, and usually those games don't churn out the props.
Yeah.
Alexander Johnson tackles hit. Jerry Jeudy catches hit.
Yes. Jerry Jeudy yards, receiving yards hit.
Jerry Jeudy receiving yards hit. So there were some out there.
I had Melvin Gordon over 11.5 carries. That hit. Okay. I had the lock one you mentioned. I had Titans under
20.5.
20.5. I did take Broncos over 18.5. They just convert.
Fourth and goal. I mean,
the fourth and goal and one extra point not missed by the Titans. It's 21-17. That was my prediction.
Because I'm trying to not talk about timeouts for my own sanity. I'll say this: the game came down to the Titans scored on a 4th and 1 from the goal line, and the Broncos didn't. That's the game.
Yep.
It's a 14-point swing. The game ends in a 2-point game. So
for sure.
That's it right there.
We should mention I was able to make a little money on that first Monday night. I
broke even.
You got Danny dimed.
I broke even because I had Saquon. I've never been as right as anything as I was about that. I said Saquon over 26.5 receiving yards. All you need is one good screen. His first catch of the game is a screen for 40 yards.
Yeah, it's true. And also, like, Big Ben made me sweat that out. I'm off the Big Ben. Any bandwagon whatsoever, optimism, I'm off.
I've never seen anyone move that slowly.
It's crazy.
It was like
as well.
Slower than Tom Brady.
I mean, Peyton in his heyday with us, no?
Nope.
Wow.
He makes Peyton look like a adolescent deer, just bouncing around through like a fern.
It's pretty cute imagery.
Thank you. All right, I'm done.
Fair enough.
We didn't talk about timeouts. Good for us. Wasn't
betting related.
I mean, if
we had a prop, we would have. How many timeouts will the Broncos have left by the end of the game? Then we would discuss it.
You see, you made my mind go there. We're leaving that place. We are going to talk about this Denver Nuggets Game 7 against the Los Angeles Clippers. Andre, am I supposed to feel nervous?
Producer guy was telling me the same thing. Like he couldn't feel calmer. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I haven't been able to reasonably enjoy a Nuggets game in months. I mean, it's nothing but suffering. I can barely even have them on my TV. And then they just give me this infinite joy. But, I mean, the payoff before that is so hard for me to stomach.
This is where it all comes down to me, Andre. The Clippers merely adopted Game 7. The Nuggets were born in it, molded by it.
That's true.
4 Game 7s in their last 4 playoff series.
This core only knows Game 7 playoff series. Let's make that clear.
Like, Game 7, it's this big thing. It's built up, and it gets talked a lot about in the betting industry as, like, stay away from everything in Game 7 because everyone tightens up and no one scores. And I do not think that's happening to the Nuggets tonight.
I could see it.
And I don't think it's going to happen to Kawhi either.
No. Kawhi doesn't have a heartbeat, so he's going to be just fine in Game 7,
But
kids.
I think the rest of the Clippers are going to be severely affected by this.
I mean, they already have.
They have the weight of the world on their shoulders. Do you know that the Clippers, I might mess this up, but I'll get close, are now 0-6 in elimination games that could send them to the Western Conference Finals in their history?
I believe after last game, it's now 0-7.
0-7.
7, baby. 7. It's the perfect number. Game 7's John Elway. This is our time.
The Nuggets will now be playing in their 6th elimination game
7.5-point underdogs
of the playoffs. They're 7.5-point underdogs, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand why they're such heavy underdogs. Like, I think every game in this series, save for Game 1, the Nuggets have looked like equals with the Clippers.
No, they've looked like the better team.
Yes.
The 6th game, from Game 2 to Game 6, they have consistently been the better team.
I said this on the DNVR Nuggets podcast after last game.
Agree
I said,
completely.
Throw away Game 1 because Game 1 was a scheduled loss.
Absolutely.
Game 3, they kind of blew it.
Not kind of. They blew it straight up.
And here we are in Game 7.
Yep.
So if the Nuggets just don't blow Game 3, we're not even talking about this.
Not at all.
And how are the Nuggets 7.5-point underdogs?
Well, I mean, you know that, right? You're a sweet kid, but you know it's perception, guys. It's perception. That's all it is. If it was based on how these teams have played, who's got the more pressure coming into this contest, how they've played the last 3 or 4 games, the matchups that have kind of been figured out on either side, absolutely, this is at worst a pick 'em, and the Nuggets should probably be favored. But it's perception. It's perception. It's Kawhi. It's Paul George. It's the depth.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Good for us. We get all this plus money. You don't hear me complaining.
See, now you flip. I've got you. You're
got
on
me
our side
fired
now.
up
You're
now,
on ours.
bro.
You're
You got me
confident.
fired
I
up.
don't have a nervous bone in my body. Now, would it shock me if the Clippers just came out and both Paul George and Kawhi were going, and sometimes there's just nothing you can do? No, that's not going to shock me. But I'll be honest, Andre. It also wouldn't shock me if the Nuggets just go win this game comfortably. I might be the only person around that feels that way, but I think that outcome exists, where the Nuggets just go in and they're the comfortable team and the Clippers are the tight team. And
doesn't that almost scare you? Like, I don't want to be the team with the lead going into like the 3rd. I don't.
Interesting.
I want to be the team that gets tight, trying to nurse that lead and bring it home.
I guess
only Game 7 the Nuggets have left, they were nursing a lead and then kind of blew it.
The Nuggets have the best closer in the NBA in Nikola Jokic.
Absolutely.
And so I guess there is a theory here where you could say if it's a close game, that's when the Clippers really start breathing heavily. And Nikola Jokic is like, cool, just give me this ball. I'm going to do like a little 180 and flip it over my left shoulder and drop it in. I see that as well. But I really think, like, I'm comfortable with Game 7 now.
Yeah, insanely enough. I mean, Game 7 does feel more comfortable than like Game 5 down 3-1.
Yeah. So like all of a sudden,
like,
I think the Nuggets are walking in this game just being like, yeah, Game 7, Game 5, Game 3, Game 1 doesn't matter.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And that excites me. So let's get into the betting side of this.
It should.
As you can tell, I like Nuggets money line plus 265.
Oh yeah.
I definitely like the 7.5 if you want a safer bet.
Of course.
I like Nikola Jokic over 24.5.
Yeah, come on.
There's Jokic games and there's Murray games. Jokic is the one that I think in Game 7 you say, like, we're going to lean on this guy.
Well, these have been Jokic series and Murray series. This has been the Jokic series.
Totally true.
Because as I was telling Hank when you were in Mexico, I haven't had this much fun watching one of my team's superstars obliterate a matchup like Jokic on Zubac or JaMychal Green or, Trez since watching Von Miller dominate Mike Remmers in a Super Bowl 50,
Oh,
We're at those levels, though. I mean, it's really just like watch a superstar cook against, some some poor guy who has nothing better to do in the bubble than get cooked by Jokic.
Did you know that Montrezl Harrell, despite all of his yelling and screaming while he's on the floor, is like a league high minus 62 in the playoffs?
I'm not surprised. I mean, he doesn't belong in the NBA playoffs. That style of play, that like, fun, Kenneth Faried.
Yeah.
It's great in the regular season, but it has no place in the 2020 NBA playoffs. You're useless. You're too limited on both ends.
He certainly can't. He has no answer for Nikola Jokic, and most people don't. But I mean, he
the
especially
Clippers don't
has
as a team. Yeah.
How could you?
When you got Zubac and nothing else, yeah.
I like over 2.5 threes from Jokic. That's plus money,
that's a
plus
good one.
152.
That's a good one.
He's shooting 46% from three in his career. In the playoffs.
It's absurd.
That's like one of the most
absurd.
underappreciated stats I think that exists.
It's one of the most insane stats that exists. Yeah. I mean, I'm venturing as far as like superstars who've played over 25 playoff games. That's top 10.
Yep. I have to rattle off my other favorite stat that I mentioned on the DNVR Nuggets podcast the other night. Michael Porter Jr. tonight, who unfortunately we can't get any props on. They're scared of him. Michael Porter Jr. tonight will play in his 14th playoff game.
Pretty incredible.
Do you know what season LeBron James played in his 14th playoff game?
Oh. Like year 5?
Year 3.
Oh, wow.
And Carmelo Anthony, also the last playoff game of his 3rd season was his 14th game.
Wow. Crazy.
Like, it's insane. The experience this kid is getting is completely invaluable.
Yeah, man.
I really wish we could bet on him tonight because I think he's the there was the Lou Dort game for the Thunder where like out of nowhere in Game 7 he just like started making it rain. I think that could be the Michael Porter Jr. game tonight.
Huh, interesting. I think Gary Harris has been playing so much and that offensive game is coming along. That's kind of been a prop I've been riding throughout. Over 9.5 points I think is nice. Over 14.5 points, boards, and assists combined I also think is nice. And, I'm trolling Zubac, so I might as well lean into that and take the under 9.5 points. That's at plus 101.
Okay, real quick. Nikola Jokic made that joke the other night in his press conference. He was like, my vert, it's getting so much high over the last days. Like, I don't know what's happening. That was like a joke, but honestly, he's contesting shots at the rim better than he ever has.
I mean, Ryan, what this bubble has done for these Nuggets has been insane. We've refound Gary Kubiak. MPJ became...
Gary Kubiak.
Where'd that come from? Gary Harris. MPJ became a valuable, rotation NBA player. Jamal Murray became a superstar. Nikola Jokic now blocks shots. It's amazing.
Have you allowed yourself to start thinking about, a Nuggets-Lakers Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, I had trouble sleeping 2 nights ago doing that. Yes. I don't like to say it in public, but yes, I've let my mind go.
It's weird because I'm the one who's so confident about this game, yet I haven't gone there yet. I'm very locked in on this specific game.
You should. That's good.
Yeah.
Gary Kubiak and any other head coach would be very proud of you.
I can't wait to watch the Nuggets run the West Coast offense.
That'd be amazing. More stretch runs for sure.
Get more stretch runs for Jamal. One cut and go.
They do offer the matchups to score more points. You can get Yoke over Murray minus 125.
I don't want to do that, though.
I know, but that's so automatic.
I know, but then you're rooting. I mean, not actually, but somewhere deep inside of you, Jamal hits 3 threes earlier in the game, and you're like, damn, my bet's done.
That's not happening, though, and Jamal might be tired. This prevents you from betting the under on Jamal points,
No, thanks.
Okay.
So do you have Jokic against, Kawhi or something?
Yeah, you do. Where was that? And then Jokic combined points, I really like. Combined points, rebounds, assists, 43.5.
So that is the headline of this show. The prop to win the series for the Nuggets and send them to the Western Conference Finals is Jokic over 43.5. I think if that hits, the Nuggets are winning this basketball game. What was the Jokic versus Kawhi?
They don't have that because they're scared. You can't get Jokic over Paul George.
What's that?
Even money, minus 110.
Oh, I love that. I wouldn't like the Kawhi one. I think Kawhi's going for 40 tonight.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to be alone in his pursuit.
Get this. Zubac or Millsap?
Wow. Oh, Paul. Oh, Paul.
They just have to lean on Zubac so much because they don't have any other. Like, they just need a, like, broad-shouldered 7-footer to grind 15 minutes with Yoke. But
I don't know why I believe this game begins with a wide-open layup for Paul Millsap.
first to score, plus 1,400.
Yeah. I kind of like.
Nice.
I think the Nuggets are gonna run a little action. They're gonna double Jokic on the touch. He's gonna throw like a nasty little pass to Paul Millsap, who's right under the rim for one of his little signature ugly layups.
I'm really trying to avoid these first to score bets.
Yeah,
you know?
they're dumb.
Even with the protection, I can't get Judy in the end zone. You know. Damn shame. Damn shame.
Judy in the end zone. That's on Pat Shurmur. The dude gets open in 3 yards every time.
I know, but just gotta catch it. There were one of those drops. I swear could have been a house call.
The one on the deep in, and that's why he dropped it, because he saw the safety and said, "If I beat him, it's a touchdown."
I know. Sad.
He'll be all right. He'll be fine.
Oh, obvious. Yeah. Anyone freaking out about Judy? I mean, that's insane.
As I said on the Broncos podcast today, my only worry is that in year 2040, when he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame, Broncos fans will still be whining about his drops. Because he's going to drop the ball here and there.
Yeah, and that was in our. You look at any scouting reports on Judy on DNVR, one of the few weaknesses, too many drops. Big whoop, you live with him.
Yeah.
He broke all those records at Alabama despite having a drop every once in a while. It worked out.
Yeah, when you're
He's still
open
the
on every
best receiver in
play and
college
getting
football.
targeted that much, and also he just. Oh, I hope eventually he realizes like 10 yards is not as good as 60. It's a hell of a lot better than 0.
Right, we're not trying to blow him out by 45 in the first, like at Alabama, you know.
Yeah, true. He's like, he's at Alabama. He's like, I have to score every time I get the ball, or else I might not get it again because I'm surrounded by 5 NFL
benched
receivers.
in like 2 quarters. Yeah.
Okay. Of course, head over to DraftKings Sportsbook. Get in on all the fun. I believe there was a Game 7 little prop thing they had going
Get
tonight.
7-1 odds on any player to score the first basket in Game 7.
Well, you already have 14-1 on Millsap.
Well, you could take Yoke.
You could
Or
hedge
Jamal, or right.
I wonder like at what.
You could get better odds for those.
So okay, real quick. You put 10 on all of the. But it's the first basket of the game. So if you think you could put 10 on all 5 starters for the Nuggets and guarantee yourself profitability if the Nuggets score first.
Every time I put a first to score bet in, then there's always like the tip or the coin flip with Judy yesterday, and I'm like, oh, damn. I was really counting on that.
Right, yep.
It really helps when you have the first possession, you know?
So like I said, sign-up bonus up to $1,000 when you use the code DNVR at DraftKings Sportsbook. There's always something fun to get in on. We all at DNVR are just having a blast hanging out here at the bar, throwing bets off each other, cooking up parlays. It's an amazing time. So head over, download it, top-rated sportsbook app in the country. And, of course, you must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires a 25x playthrough, and restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, please, please, please call 1-800-522-4700.
Speaking of DraftKings, here are a couple interesting boosts. You can get the Jokic triple-double boosted to plus 475. You made a great point off air. There's not enough assist. I'm with you.
I think it's a low assist game. Not because I think the Nuggets are going to be tight. It's just like they will be, especially the role players, will be a little bit tighter than normal, and they don't make enough of those open shots anyway to get Jokic triple-doubles in this playoffs. So
they do not.
I think it's like a 5 or less assists night for Jokic.
But if you subscribe to the theory that the moment's going to be too big for everyone tonight except for 4 guys, Kawhi, Paul George, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. Mm-hmm. All 4 of those guys to go over 25 points, you can get that boosted at plus 815. If I could get like plus 2,000, I'd be intrigued. 815, I need a little more juice.
That's a 4-game parlay.
It is.
That you get like. I feel like there's no 4-game parlay that would be under plus 1,000 unless it was all big favorites. But those are all even money.
Essentially, yeah. Because they're all set around 24 and a half,
Yeah.
23 and a half, not 25.
I think Paul George.
You think big night for
No.
PG-13? I do too.
No.
That's what I think.
I think they better hope that they're not wearing white uniforms because there might be some stains. Just saying. So that's.
Hey, I like it.
I don't know. He does. I hope I'm not really wrong on this, but he just doesn't look like he has a Game 7 in his jeans.
Paul George ain't it, fam. I can tell you, Paul George does not have it. He does not have the stones for this one.
I don't think so either. I hope he's not listening or anything.
Paul George, listen away. Like, seriously. If this is what you're doing pre-Game 7, I think we're in your head already, and I have zero concerns.
That's true. That is quite true. Anything else you like on the night? Is there any like Maction or anything like that?
Oh, man, some action would be nice right about now. We do have Heat Celtics starting off the Eastern Conference Finals with the Celtics getting up early 12-13. Frankly, I might jump in on the Heat live and mind this run a little if I'm
12-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know what that money line comes in at. There's no college football until Friday. Although my Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, they won me a bet last week, so now I love them.
Nice.
Minus 26 against Campbell. That's just one guy. I feel like they're definitely going to beat him.
Wow. Minus 5,000 favorite.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I think they're covering the 26. They got this quarterback. He's legit. That's going to be my new college football team.
I like it. I love it.
All right. I think that's going to wrap it up for us on this Game 7 edition of DNVR Bets Daily, the third we've already had in the history of this show.
Oh, yeah, we've had 4.
Four?
Yeah, Avs and Nugs both. Oh, no.
Avs just went to 1.
Yeah,
Game 7, right?
it's the third in the history of this show. Yeah, that's
Already.
insane.
By the way, we're 2 away already from our 100th show.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Coming up on it.
We've got a question about the DK Golf Special.
Oh, okay. What is the DK Golf Special?
Right now.
Let me see.
Oh, I thought that was something we were doing, but DK stands for DraftKings. So, yes.
Welcome.
I blanked for a second there.
Oh, here we go. Double your winnings if any American wins this week's major, up to $50. U.S. Open this weekend, of course.
Colin Morikawa's American.
Colin Morikawa sure is American. Some have said he's
We
the
are
pride of America.
Jeez. I better back up some money into my account so I can put my entire mortgage.
We've
That
made
doesn't
history.
exist.
Arcade admitting to a first potential deposit. Oh, man. Craziness.
Colin Morikawa plus 1,700. We definitely want the Americans. Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Webb Simpson, Bryson DeChambeau, Daniel Berger. You know, you just go down that Patrick Lee. Like 10 of the top 12 guys or 13 guys are American.
That's true.
So we'll take that one. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, good
Beautiful.
stuff. That's going to wrap it up for us this time. 98th episode of DNVR Bets Daily. We will talk to you tomorrow as we begin to get ready for the Nuggets and Lakers Western Conference Finals.
Let's go. Yeah, which one?